USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
Calling it a time of shared sacrifices, President Trump is praising the majority of Americans who are following orders in the face of the coronavirus outbreak and the government's response to it.
We're asking every American to make major changes to reduce social interactions over the next 2 weeks.
America's movie theaters are now asking Congress and the Trump administration for bailouts after they've shut their doors to try to slow the coronavirus pandemic. Millions of Americans could begin getting $1,000 checks from Washington in less than a month under a bill the Trump administration is pitching to Congress. It's part of an economic stimulus package aimed at easing financial pain that the pandemic has brought Americans. It calls for the first $1,000 payments to be issued beginning April 6th, with a second $1,000 check going out to most Americans on May 18th. This is USA Radio News.
Why spend more than you have to on your life insurance? Hi, I'm John David Wells from the Wells Report. Did you know that life insurance rates have fallen 60% over the past 25 years? Even if you already own life insurance, you should check out the folks at AccuQuote. Since 1986, they've helped millions of people save up to 60% on their life insurance by comparing the rates and features of dozens of top-rated life insurance products. Want some examples? Here's this one. A healthy 50-year-old non-smoker can buy a $500,000 worth of 10-year level term for less than $45 a month. A 60-year-old under $120 a month. 20 or 30-year terms. Even permanent plans are also available. And if you're on medications or have health problems, the experts at AccuQuote will still work with you to find an affordable policy. Nobody does it better than AccuQuote. Call 877-437-5912 right now. That's 877-437-5912. 877-437-5912. Life insurance. AccuQuote. Call them today.
Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
Parts of the United States hit hard by coronavirus, and some places not hit hard by the virus, but by panic buying by consumers, are now seeing a lot of price gouging. The Utah Attorney General saying they're seeing it in his state.
These are some brutal, some sociopathic perpetrators out there who have no conscience whatsoever.
Utah AG Sean Reyes there saying he has seen prices on some critical items go from $3 to $300. The coronavirus pandemic is killing the print edition of Playboy magazine. Its CEO announcing that the pandemic has disrupted content production and the company's supply chain to the point that the print version simply can't survive. So the spring 2020 edition will be the last print edition. American Idol is stopping production. The 2 remaining episodes already taped will air, but there won't be any live shows next month. And this is USA Radio News.
You know, I've told you I get the best sleep of my life with my MyPillow, but I'm not the only one. Mark in Las Vegas told me the other day, we were talking on other business, he says he went to MyPillow.com, clicked on the radio listener special, and used the promo code USA. He got a great deal on a MyPillow, and he is enjoying his sleep now. You can too. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, use my promo code USA, and I promise you, you'll get the best sleep of your life, or you get your money back.
A Republican U.S. Senator with concerns about the hospitality industry during the coronavirus crisis.
Millions of people are working from home, off the job, or out of school as the virus spreads. Maine Republican Senator Susan Collins fears the economic downturn will harm small businesses.
The hospitality industry in particular, the restaurants, the B&Bs, the gift shops, the small hotels, are being adversely affected by the virus.
For USA Radio News, I'm Wendy King.
The NBA could play a charity game to give basketball-starved fans something to watch. During these days of isolation, the NBA commissioner telling ESPN a charity competition of some kind, separate from league play, is possible, adding he's not prepared to cancel the season, but admits he's not sure on how the schedule is going to look or if fans will be able to attend when play does resume. Volvo is recalling 121,000 vehicles because of a problem with automatic emergency brakes that don't work. Notices will be sent out by May 1st. And an astronaut from Apollo 15 has died. Alfred Worden died at the age of 88. NASA's administrators saying that Worden had achievements in space and on Earth that will never be forgotten. And for USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
Here's your Georgetown forecast from the Hipp Radio Network Weather Center. Isolated thunderstorms likely today. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Highs level off around 79. Winds out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows level off around 62. Overcast skies. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms likely. Daytime highs approaching 65. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 69 degrees.
This is the National Daily.
Welcome to March 19th, 2020 on the National Day calendar. Today we celebrate the best medicine, from caregivers to comedians. More after the break from our founder, Marlo Anderson.
If you have a reason to celebrate every day, why not share it with the world? Our Celebrate Every Day t-shirts and gear spark conversations wherever they go. And you never know where a good conversation can lead you. Join the Celebration Nation by picking up your own feel-good wear on our website, nationaldaycalendar.com.
Care comes from all kinds of people, but those dedicated to becoming certified nurses have truly gone above and beyond in a profession that is often overlooked and undervalued. On National Certified Nurses Day, celebrate the selfless folks who balance patient needs with ever-changing technology and complex and challenging times. Even a smile can show that you care too.
Sure, we've all heard that laughter is the best medicine, but do we really need that excuse? Studies say that laughing reduces stress, boosts your immune system, and even tightens your tummy. Hey, goofball, why don't you just have a laugh for the halibut? Okay. On National Let's Laugh Day, get your funny bone tickled any way you please. And don't forget to bring a spare pair of pants, because that's how you know you got the maximum benefit.
Still not that funny, Anna.
Come on!
Today is also National Chocolate Caramel Day, National Poultry Day, and spring begins.
Yay!
Tomorrow, World Flower Day, National Ravioli Day, and Kick Butts Day. Yeah. Learn more by following us at nationaldaycalendar.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And thanks for joining us on our journey as we celebrate every day.
See you again tomorrow.
Broadcasting worldwide from the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio. This is Hipp Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The switch is on. Welcome to Good Morning Georgetown with Rob and Ken. Waking you up in the mornings and getting your day started with the hottest hits, news, and jokes. Get ready. And now here's your hosts, Rob Hipp and Ken Covington.
Good morning, Georgetown. March the 19th. I hope everyone is doing wonderful today despite the circumstances. We've been keeping you up to date here. Of course, we'll talk about the ongoing coronavirus pandemic that's now affecting folks right here in Williamson County. We don't have any more information yet this morning. We only release information when we get it from the county or the Williamson County and City's Health District. Yesterday, a press release, a press conference actually, followed by a press release with 4 confirmed cases now of the coronavirus here in Williamson County. I'm sure that most of you have been following that. If not, we've been keeping up to date with everything. You can visit us online at hrngeorgetown.com/coronavirus. That's hrngeorgetown.com/corona. You know what? I've been lying about that because I don't think. Let me see if that works because I've been telling folks that. That's not going to work actually. So if you just go to hrngeorgetown.com/news, that is where you will find it. So I apologize for that. I've been giving that out. Maybe folks have been trying to go there and not been able to find it, but it's hrngeorgetown.com/news. And then from there, we've got information on the coronavirus. This was a press release issued yesterday from Williamson County, the city's health district, the WCCHD, receiving notification yesterday morning of the first 4 positive cases of the coronavirus disease, of course known as COVID-19, here in Williamson County. And friends, we still don't have any more information. Maybe other news outlets do. I honestly this morning haven't looked into it too much. At this stage, information very limited. And the Williamson County City's Health District will share more information as it becomes available and necessary to protect the health of the public. There are 4 individuals at this time, though, a female in her 40s who has been self-quarantined, a male in his 50s with exposure to a known case, an infant who is a close contact with a separate known case, and a female in her 40s who has a known travel history to France. And so, again, we don't have any more information on that this morning, but we will keep you updated here on HRN and the Hipp Radio Network. By the way, if you don't have the app, please go download it. I always promote that. That is really the lifeblood of this station. Super easy to do it. You just go to your app store on iOS, on your iPhone. If you're on Android, go to the Google Play Store, and you can easily search for Hipp Radio Network and download our app, and we will keep you up to date with everything that is going on. And again, we're only going to release information on this station that is information from the proper authorities. I don't ever like to go out there and spread any news that you don't need to know and stuff that may not be factual. And so we want to make sure that that we're doing our part in honoring that and making sure that we are getting you relevant information to keep you up to date with what is going on. Well, friends, we got for what it's worth, we've got a good show here today, and I say for what it's worth because there is a lot of businesses in our community this morning and this week have really been struggling. I've already, if you listen to the show, I've told you about just with me being in sportscasting and that kind of turning my world upside down. But there's so many more industries. And we're going to continue to keep this show going. I've had a couple of sponsors say that they may not be able to renew their agreements with us here on HRN due to the financial situation, but we're working on some new things to really help promote businesses during this time. But there's a lot of businesses out there, not just in the sportscasting world, of course, but in the hospitality industry, especially in the service industry with a lot of restaurants closing down. And it's just going to be tough here over the next few weeks. You know, friends, I've talked about it on the show already this week, and some of you may have already heard it. For those of you that are joining us on the show for the first time or didn't hear yesterday, welcome to the show. By the way, if you're on Facebook this morning, feel free to say hello, send us a comment. We'll get to those Facebook shout-outs here in a little bit. But today we're going to talk to businesses, different folks from around Georgetown. Michelle Jarzewski-Webb over at Schloshki's. We'll talk to her around 8 o'clock this morning by phone. We're also going to talk to Tori Clark at Spa Lux. We're going to talk to Kyle Simek over at Guns Plus around 8:15. Annette Montgomery, who is with Annette Montgomery Real Estate. We'll talk to her by phone at 8:30. And then I've got a friend all the way in Arizona named Jean-Luc Williams, who is in the health industry, not the health care industry, but the health and wellness industry. And I'm going to talk to him just really about how things are in Arizona and how it's affecting him. So we're going to hear all different perspectives this morning. Of course, focused primarily on our community. Michelle and the rest of our wonderful sponsors that are going to be calling in this morning, they're going to talk about how it's affecting their businesses and really give us a firsthand perspective on what they are dealing with. And more importantly, what can we do to help and how can we give back to these businesses, not just the ones that you're going to hear on the show this morning, but also from other businesses in the community and how we're going to help them. It's one of the reasons I started HRN, just back on January the 1st, really trying to emphasize the commercial investment that businesses have in our community. And I think now more than ever, we're going to have to really be there for each other. Friends, I encourage you, put the politics aside. I've already seen a lot of it. Luckily, Facebook has a little option to where you can just say hide post or snooze this person for 30 days. This isn't a time for politics. Whether you agree or disagree with the way our president is handling this situation, put all that aside. We need to come together. We need to unite, and we need to be here for each other during this time. You've heard it all over the media. I'm just going to reiterate it with our audience and the folks that know me. You know how I am and the ways that I want to help and give back to the community and really spread a positive message. You know, today is National Laughter Day. You may have heard that before we started the show here on the Facebook live stream. I don't think there is a more important time than right now. We need to be serious, but we also need to smile. We need to have a few laughs for a good thing. And so I encourage you today to be there for people and just to surround yourself with the good of what's going on versus all of the negative energy. And so again, if you want to get away from all the politics, just hit snooze on your Facebook with those that are doing that. And, it's going to be it'll be an opportunity for you just to get rid of all that, and you can continue to be happy and enjoy a lot of the good things that are going on. Well, friends, yesterday, Williamson County Judge Bill Gravel signed a second mass gathering order that limits gatherings to 10 or fewer. Again, this was signed yesterday from Williamson County and City's Health District, announcing yesterday there are 4 confirmed cases. We talked about that earlier. In response to that, County Judge Bill Gravel issuing a second mass gathering order effective as of 6 p.m. yesterday. Now, there was some businesses that were, that still had some pretty good gatherings. And friends, I'm going to tell you straight up, just heed the advice of our officials and the leaders. They know what's going on. And whether you think this is mass hysteria or not, I don't think it is. Maybe at first I did. That's why, last week I didn't think it was a big deal. We were having market days, and I was glad to be down there. But now I think that there really is this serious aspect that we all really feel now. In fact, when I was driving in this morning to the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio, I really felt just this, I don't want to say fear, because that's not where we want to be. But you just could tell that things today, really, especially here in Williamson County, just didn't really feel like they felt over the past couple of weeks when we first heard about it, because now with those 4 cases, it really hits home. The thing is, friends, there's math that goes to this, and a lot of folks want to refuse that math. They want to believe that this is a mass hysteria, and some people are conspiracy theorists. I don't believe in any of that, by the way. The deal is there's math behind this. The flu has like a 0.2% mortality rate. Now, if you take 0.2% and put that into 1%, that's 5 times. So if you're following me and you're following the math, this COVID-19 pandemic, and pandemic, by the way, is, of course, global. An epidemic is centered within a certain area or region. This is now a pandemic. All 50 states in the United States, even up in Alaska, have all had confirmed cases now as testing becomes more available. But the deal is, you take 0.2% mortality rate, you multiply that into 1%. It's basically 5 times you take to get to 1%. Okay, friends? The mortality rate with COVID-19 as it stands across the board is around 3%. So we're dealing with a disease and an illness that is about 15% more deadly than the flu. And I was talking to folks just a couple of weeks ago, and I even was on that train of believing that, well, the flu impacts more people. I mean, people are posting things on social media right now about cigarette smoking and other diseases. Look, this is something that is real and is serious, and I'm not doing this to, spread fear or panic. I'm doing it to educate you and let you know that this is something that we do need to take very seriously and just be cautious about. And the reason is, look, if anything, we have to think about other people that are around us. I have a 92-year-old grandmother, okay? I don't want, as much as I want to talk to her and be there with her, I don't want to do anything that's going to cause her any trouble, okay? And that's what this is really about right now. This right now is really about taking care of our fellow neighbors and being there for other people. I'm still out a little bit. Yesterday Bridget and I, yesterday evening, we went sorry, I'm getting some messages here. Yesterday we went to Wingstop and got some wings. And, of course, they had a sign up that said, takeout and delivery only. And that is really what we're starting to see right now, is a lot of takeout and deliveries only. And that's really what Judge Gravel put out yesterday, as food establishments as of yesterday are ordered to close common dining areas open to the public during the effective period of this second order, and they're encouraged to provide takeaway or no-contact delivery food service. Of course, this is designed to limit exposure between individuals. The holder of a wine and beer retailer's permit or mixed beverage permit is ordered to close common indoor and outdoor bar spaces open to the public. Of course, we got a lot of those on the square in Georgetown. They're prohibited from allowing consumption on the bar premises during the effective period of this order. Talking about more here, quote unquote, from County Judge Bill Gravel, Williamson County is taking these more stringent measures to reduce the spread of the virus in the community so that our healthcare facilities will not be overwhelmed in the days to come. We continue to ask that our residents practice social distancing and be at least 6 feet apart in distance from the person next to them. He also says, we appreciate everyone's patience during this time of dramatic changes. Be prepared, not scared. And that is a phrase that we've heard so much, is be prepared, not scared. For more information and updates, we'll have them on hrngeorgetown.com. You can also, I would recommend keeping up to date with the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control at cdc.gov. You can also continue to visit the website, wilco.org/COVID-19. There's also been a phone line set up. This is very important because I don't believe many of you know about this. It hasn't been talked about a whole lot in the media. I wanted to talk about this. A phone line has been set up during business hours, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to help answer any questions that you may have. I'm not sure how inundated that phone line is or how often it's answered. I'm sure that there's folks there. The number, though, is 512-943-1600. Again, that number, if you've got any questions to help answer those questions, you can call them 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday at 512-943-1600. The phone line will be active starting today, March the 19th at 10 a.m. For healthcare-related questions, you can call the Williamson County and Cities Health District helpline. That number is 512-943-3660. Well, again, we're going to talk to Michelle Webb at Schlossky's coming up around 8 a.m. Tori Clark at Spa Lux around 8:05 or 8:10. We'll talk to Kyle Simek over at Guns Plus and see how his business, I don't say this, not a pun intended, but his business has been booming, and it's understandably so. We'll talk to him and his perspective about that. We'll talk to Annette Montgomery, who's in real estate, around 8:30, and then again at 8:45, I'll talk to a good friend of mine, Jean-Luc Williams, all the way into Arizona. For now, though, I'm going to step aside and take a break. Time now is 7:57. Nikki Hillen of Galaxy Granite will be joining us for an hour, and she'll be here in studio with us as well. We'll step aside and take a quick break. When we come back, we've got more news. We've got those interviews with businesses in our community. If you've got questions, by the way, please keep those questions coming on our Facebook live stream. You can feel free to comment to us, and we will do our best to get back to you. So we'll step aside. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have things starting back up. This is Hipp Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station.
your Georgetown forecast from the Hipp Radio Network Weather Center. Cloudy skies expected today with a chance for scattered rain showers. Highs level off around 79. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast again tonight. Scattered thunderstorms likely. Lows level off around 62. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 65. Overcast skies. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 69 degrees.
Broadcasting worldwide from the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio. This is Hipp Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station.
Welcome back, friends, here live from the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio. We'll get to our calls coming up here in just a little bit. We'll talk to Michelle over at Sloshki's here in just a minute or two. But in studio with us, my cousin, Nikki Hillen. Nikki Hillen, how you doing this morning, Nikki?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I always say, you were married to my cousin, but you're still my cousin, and I love you.
I love you too.
And Bridget and I both love you very much. And I was kind of sad, though, that Ethan couldn't make it this morning.
That boy would not get out of bed.
Yeah, that's my buddy, man. So, Nikki is with Galaxy Granite, one of our sponsors here on HRN. She's going to be chiming in during our phone calls as well. We're talking to a lot of businesses this morning, and we'll call those in a minute. Before we get started with those calls, though, Nikki, I wanted to ask you, and I love your dad, man. He was on the show. I'm telling you, if you need a laugh, you just need to go talk to Eric for just about 10 minutes. That's the best medicine you can get during all this mess right now.
You're definitely right.
Well, Nikki, talk about real quick how this whole COVID-19 has affected you guys at Galaxy Granite. Has it been an impact for you guys, and how are you working through it?
Well, currently, it hasn't really affected us too bad. We're blessed in that sense. The only thing I can say right now is that our walk-in traffic, as far as, customers coming in the last 2 days, has basically been non-existent. And so, obviously, in order for us to continue doing business, we have to have new jobs. We have to have people coming in. So, that's about the only thing that has really affected us. In the meantime, we're just catching up on what we already have and trying to give the best customer service to the customers we do have right now.
You were one of the first folks when we did y'all's commercial. And I remember you said, man, I'm kind of nervous. And you did it in one take. And you've got a good voice for radio. You really do, Nikki.
Really.
So if you need a female voiceover artist, Nikki is a hidden talent. She doesn't realize that she has it, but it's there. So we'll get you Nikki's information. Maybe we'll get you a few extra jobs there on the side, man.
I'm down for it. Let's go.
Well, awesome. Well, here in just a few moments, going to get on the line with Michelle Webb over at Sloshki's. We will talk to her. Nikki, let me ask you this, though. How can folks help you guys right now? What are some things that people can do to help your business? I'm assuming everything is still business as normal, though, as far as the hours at Galaxy Granite. You had your 10-year party coming up, the 10-year anniversary, though. That had to be postponed.
Unfortunately, it did. That was going to be a big thing. We, invited everyone, the whole town, but we went ahead and postponed that. But honestly, if you're still looking to do a remodel and you need your kitchen countertops done, please come and see us, because unless we're forced to stop, we're not stopping. So.
And there's still a lot going on with the building industry and folks still staying busy in that sense as well. So do what you can. Galaxy Granite, one of our sponsors here, and Nikki's here with us this morning, so we appreciate her. I believe we've got Michelle on the line. Michelle, can you hear us this morning?
Yes, I can.
Well, hey, good morning. I know we're a little bit after 8 o'clock here, but I wanted to just take a moment and first of all, say thanks for all that you do, Michelle. You're one of our sponsors here as we're talking to Michelle Jarzewski-Webb. Did I say that right, Michelle?
You did. Great job.
Yeah, I told you, it took me a while, but I finally got it down, Michelle. Well, Michelle is the owner of Sloshki's here in Georgetown. Wanted to take a moment to chat with her here for about 5 minutes or so this morning. Michelle, we talked about the order yesterday by Judge Bill Gravel now that has essentially closed the interior areas of restaurants where it's only delivery or takeout only. Before we chat about other businesses and what we can do to help them, how has this affected your business and Sloshki's, and what are you guys doing right now?
It's devastating right now, actually, and I know that all the other restaurants are going through the same thing as we are. We've definitely had to take other precautions to make sure that this doesn't spread. We were doing the extra cleanings, of course, every 30 minutes, wiping down everything that people could touch, like common surfaces, handles, the numbers that we have out when people get their numbers. As soon as we get them back, we wipe those down before they go to another customer or another employee. We're wrapping all the lemons, limes, and oranges so that they're individual servings so people aren't touching other people's lemons. Same thing with the lids out there by the front counter. We're definitely taking as many steps as possible to prevent it. But now cutting out the dining room, we were one of the last people who actually had our dining room open until they said that it's time to close at 6 last night. And we've had people coming through all day yesterday saying, "Oh, I'm so excited y'all had a dining room open because we just want to stop and eat real quick instead of taking it with us while we were driving." And it's been horrible for business. I can't imagine what everybody else is going through. I mean, well, I can't because I'm going through it, but just other businesses in general. I mean, this is what we're experiencing, and I can't imagine, stores and the spas and doctor's offices. I mean, it's impacting everybody.
Well, Michelle, your employees, how are they coping with this right now? I know it's been tough on them as well. So kind of what do you guys have in place and how are they coping with this whole situation?
They're really understanding. They're very understanding. And it's just, that's the one thing that hurts me the most is that I have to go to my employees, and we've already had meetings. We had an emergency meeting on Saturday, and we had one on Monday for some of the other people that couldn't make it. And they knew to expect it because, of course, that's the number one thing in the news. They knew to expect it, and it sucks though that we're having to go through it now. And we had our mid case, then the worst case scenario, and now we're in the worst case scenario. And a lot of them are understanding. They're volunteering to give up their hours, and I told them that for the first couple of days we'll be doing some extra cleaning to get everything sterilized while people aren't in the dining room going through and doing that extra stuff. And then after that, I don't know. Unfortunately, some of our part-time people might be the ones that are experiencing more loss of hours, but I'm going to try to evenly divide it amongst everybody. And I know I was having a conversation with Jim over at the chamber about maybe getting with HEB and seeing if some of our employees can go over there and help them to help make up some of the different hours. So that was an idea that we were tossing around, and I want to offer it to the employees and let them know that there are, of course, like the big retailers that are offering part-time or temp jobs to get through kind of the madness that's going on at the grocery stores right now.
Michelle, as a community, how can we help your business? There's a lot of restaurants out there. You give so much back to the community. For our listeners and for everybody joining us this morning, how can we help you guys? What can we do to help you?
Well, for us, definitely make sure you utilize our drive-through, taking out our online ordering that we have through Schlotzsky's.com. We are also, I put up a link on our personal Facebook page, how to do that. And also, just using your third parties. We have all of them. We have Waiter with Wheels, we have Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, Favor. We use all of them. But right now, for everybody, every business, get out there, and if you can't use their services now, like for spas, we have some great spas here. Go out and buy some gift cards. I know for one, Spa Lux is having a special right now. Buying services for the future. They'll throw in an extra service or two depending on what package you buy. Karen over at All Things Kids is doing a curbside ice cream pickup. So, it's just affecting everybody. And I know, like the pet sitters out there, people are staying home now. They can't travel. And so they are having difficulties getting jobs. And so just go out and buy gift cards, whatever you can do. If you don't want to use the service then, or get out, call those business, see if there's any gift cards you can get online, and they can put it on your account, like for the spa. But it's just, we need as much support as possible. We're not closed. We just need the extra. It's another way of getting food or another way of getting a service now.
Awesome. Well, Michelle, any final comments? I know that you had just talked about some other businesses there too, about how we can help them. Just briefly here, we got about a minute left in the call. just some other thoughts that you may have and what the community can really do to help out each other. This is such a critical time right now. I don't think it's, at first I thought maybe it was hysteria, but now the situation is pretty serious. We do realize the seriousness of it. So kind of your last thoughts on what we can do to help.
My last thoughts would be, just in the words of Ellen DeGeneres, be kind to one another. Remember your neighbors. Remember the elderly. They're not able to get their supplies. Same with the medical field. They're not able to get supplies. Make sure you remember them before buying up everything in the stores. Make sure you check on your neighbors. If you have extras, call, go over there, find out if they need anything. A lot of school kids can't get their meals they need because now they're shut down for longer than what they need to be. And, elderly people can't get the groceries that they need to survive, just basics like eggs. And just remember other people. I know it's hard, but remembering other people, remember your neighbor, make sure they're taken care of first.
Well, Michelle, we appreciate you. You do so much for the community, and thanks for what you're doing. And I'm going to get over there and get a flatbread today. Will that help out? I love you. Got me hooked on that.
California flatbread, we will have plenty of them ready for you.
See, I was going to say, Michelle is so good at remembering a lot of minor details, and to me, it's a huge detail. She knew that I like that California flatbread, so I'm coming over there today. Now I've got to do it because I'm saying it. I'm making it public. I will be there today and get that flatbread.
I expect to see you in drive-thru then, Rob.
All righty. Well, Michelle, thank you so much. We'll be praying for you guys and all of the restaurants here in our community. And, of course, we'll do what we can to help you. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Rob. Y'all have a great day today.
You too. Once again, that was Michelle Webb over at Schlossky's, hearing her perspective about how it's affecting the restaurant industry. And, Nikki, as you know, there's a lot of places on the square, a lot of bars, and those are being affected as well.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And it's just a lot. I mean, some of those places, Gumbo's down on the square. Have you been to Barrels and Amps yet?
I have been to Barrels and Amps.
What did you like? Pretty cool place, right?
I love Barrels and Amps.
And there, right now, that's a lot of these that are particularly, a bar place, not able to have business right now for the most part. And that's tough. I heard that they're allowing some to deliver alcohol, though.
I did see that. That's pretty cool. But I mean, at the same time, you're still missing the whole social aspect of everything. And, people are going to go crazy sitting in their homes all the time. Yeah, and it's just been tough. And so, we'll continue to just keep everybody in our prayers, man, because this is a situation that we've all got to get through. I'm going to ring up here Miss Tori Clark over at Spa Lux. We'll talk to her. Tori's been one of our sponsors here as well since our founding, and just want to talk to her about what's going on with her business and the spa industry particularly, and just talk more about that. Tori, do you hear us?
Hey, Rob, I can hear you.
Hey, good morning, Tori. This is Tori Clark over at Spa Lux. How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm hanging in there this morning just like millions of others.
We'll talk a little bit. We heard from Michelle just a few moments ago. Always just enjoy chatting with her as much as you also, Tori. You've got such a kind heart. You give back to the community. Talk to us just about your industry and what you guys are going through at this particular time and how you're coping with it.
Sure. So, I think as a nation right now, it's just it's just a time of uncertainty. And with uncertainty comes so many barriers for business owners and Americans alike. It's a tough time. In the spa industry, we're considered hospitality, and we're also considered, not in our own eyes, but in government's eyes, a non-essential business. And what we're seeing across the United States and across the world is non-essential businesses are turning into mandated closures just because it's helping with the spread of the virus. And Spa Lux, we are open currently. However, Saturday will be our last day open, simply because for us it's a safety and health concern, not just for our guests but for our team. And our team is our top priority right now. And I think all business owners are in that same boat. These are the times when business owners have very courageous conversations with people. And it's all about ensuring that your business stays alive and gets through this, and that your team members can sustain. what we're doing to combat this, and this rolls out today actually, is our team is going to go through some tough times. And it's not just our team, it's Americans in general. And if we stick together and support each other in any way that we can, that's the only way that we get through this. And to help our team, over the next few days, they'll all be kind of going through our own wellness retreat at Spalux. All of our team over the next few days is going to receive, free massages from us just to help them relax. We're going to continue providing them with their health care. We're going to set up a fund for them so that starting today, for the next month, anyone who purchases a gift card, either at Spalux or, of course, online at spalux.com, 20% of those gift card sales are going to go into a fund for our team so that they can use that money to help pay rent or to help purchase groceries or whatever their essential need is. And I think as a business owner, that's the most important thing to you is your team. You don't want to see them go through hardships. And for me, Rob, that's front of mind, is making sure that my team gets through this, and we're here to help them as much as we possibly can.
Well, I know it's a tough situation, and just like everybody that I'm talking with, of course, keeping you guys in our prayers. The other side, you've got a business. You have expenses that you still have to deal with, and we're all facing that right now. All business owners are facing those thoughts. As far as rent, you guys are in a pretty prominent place there by the Sheraton Hotel. Have you heard anything from your landlord? How are they going to work with you guys on rent and those kind of things? Do you know those answers yet?
Sure. So we do. We've talked to our banking partners. We've talked to our landlord, and these are the courageous conversations that people have to have. And Rob, you know this. When I owned a company, Clark Travel, and when I inherited it, it was going into bankruptcy. And so these courageous conversations, as I call them, are not new to me, and they're not novel. My landlord has been excellent to work with. Our landlord is Novak Commercial. They're an amazing family-owned company, and they're also being hit by this. Everyone is hit by this. Your landlord, your developer, whomever you report to for your building. It takes two to make things work. And when you can have those open conversations with your bank or your landlord, it helps make things go more smoothly for you, but also for them, because you need to set expectations and have these conversations with people sooner rather than later. And to anyone listening who's also a business owner, don't wait till the last minute. Have conversations that are tough with people now, because you know what, Rob, they know these conversations are coming, but sooner rather than later is the respectable thing to do. And it's the best thing to do for yourself and your business. To answer your question, yes, our partners in every aspect are working with us, and that is a blessing. And I think every business owner will see some positivity there when they have those conversations.
You guys have a little baby. You and your wife have a little baby on the way. Not born yet, right? But coming soon. Correct?
Yes.
So how?
Yes,
so what?
correct.
So and congratulations to you guys on that. So how are you and your wife dealing with that right now? Kind of what's the plan? As you're bringing a little one into the world in the middle of all of this. I wanted to ask you, as you guys as upcoming mothers, how is that working?
That's it's a little scary. It's a little scary. So Tiff and I are preparing as best as we can. We were so fortunate. We had a baby shower about 2 weeks ago, and our friends are so generous. They brought us just a ton of wipes and diapers, and I'm really thankful for that now, because My sister and niece are living with us temporarily, and my niece is a year old. I was at HEB last night. I can't find baby wipes anywhere, but luckily, we have stock in our house that our friends gave us at our shower for our, soon-to-be baby boy. He's due May 1st, but he's a rather large baby, so they are probably going to either induce TIF or he may naturally just come earlier. But we expect that we'll be delivering in the middle of this, probably mid-April. And as a soon-to-be new mom, our new moms, Tiff and I are very, very nervous. We have an amazing doctor. We have an amazing medical team, but it's very scary when you're going to your doctor's appointment and most hospitals now are only limiting just you and one other person over 18. So either the sick person or the labor and delivery person plus one other person over 18. Most hospitals are moving to that now. And that's a little unfortunate for us because, of course, you want your family to be there for labor and delivery. But at the same time, it's for the health and wellness of not just Tiffany and the baby and I, but for everyone. And there are sacrifices that I see we're going to have to make through this labor and delivery. But I just keep in the forefront of my mind that it's for health and safety.
Well, and we're going to definitely keep you guys on our prayers as well. I know it's been a tough situation for so many, Tori. You talked earlier, I think you had a really awesome idea you were talking earlier about the gift cards and trying to be able to still help your employees that way. What can you once again tell us, for those that may just be joining us, what can we do to help you at this time, Tori, in your business?
Sure. So if you go to spalux.com.
That's with an E, by the way, SPALUXE.com.
Yep, SPALUXE.com. So if you go to spalux.com and you purchase a gift card, 20% of your gift card purchase is directly going into a fund for our team. And this will allow them the additional help to get through this time. And, Rob, any gift card amount works. $10, $20, $100, whatever you would like to purchase, anything helps. And it's a generous gift of giving. The way I look at it is it's a gift of relaxation for you once this is all over with. And it's a gift for our team right now. This also, of course, will help us with business expenses, but our primary goal is the team. So they will get a minimum of 20% from that fund. But it's not just our business, Rob. Any business out there that does sell gift cards or has services that you can prepay for, the service and hospitality industry is being hit extremely hard. So if you have any disposable income at the moment and you feel in your heart to give that, pick a local Georgetown business and support them, or split it up and support multiples. It's a tough time for all Americans, but the service industry and their employees are really being hit the hardest right now.
This is Nikki with Galaxy Granite. I'm here with Rob, and I just think it's really great what you are doing for your employees. I mean, the amount of care that's going into that is absolutely awesome, and it's a good example for other business owners to do with their employees as well.
Well, I appreciate that. I know Pink Poppy, my neighbor, at the summit, they are also, Kay is their owner, and they are also going to be announcing this as well. They'll be doing the same thing. I came up with the idea, Kay and I, who owns Pink Poppy, her and I were talking last night just about the trials that we're going through, and it popped into my head. Something that Kay said just sparked my mind, and I told her, I said, I'm going to do this with the gift cards. And she said, I want to do it too. And Kay is a phenomenal person. So again, today, over the next few weeks, if you go to Pink Poppy as well and make a gift card purchase, you will also know that 20% of those funds are going towards her employees too. If we all are in this together, it makes it a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tori, appreciate you calling in this morning and spending your time with us. Any final thoughts before we say good morning to you?
Final thoughts, Americans, and our Georgetown community, Spa Lux and our family, we love you. We love the support that you've always given us. And this too shall pass. We will get through this. But the most important thing is we have to stick together. We may not be able to see each other, but we can stick together. And if you know someone is going through a really rough time, some of us may be getting hit harder than others, send them an encouraging word, say a prayer for them. Just know that this too shall pass, and once it does, our nation will be stronger than ever.
Well, Tori, I couldn't agree more. I appreciate you, and again, our thoughts and prayers with you and Tiff and your business and all of your employees. You guys do a great job, and so, again, you can check them out online at spalux.com, SPALUXE.com, one of our founding sponsors here on Hipp Radio Network. I appreciate you so much, Tori.
Thanks, Rob, and you guys have a great morning, and we'll talk soon.
You bet. Once again, that was Tori Clark over at Spa Lux. Appreciate her time. And, Nikki, you made a good comment that it's pretty incredible that she's found a way to try to help her employees still through those gift cards and giving some of that money back to them. I think that's huge.
Yes, absolutely. And I hope more people follow in her footsteps and do that as well.
I think it's going to be a time to where, honestly, so many people, we're going to have to come up with creative ways and different ways of doing things. And I think the impact of this is going to, unfortunately, it's going to last a while. This isn't going to be something that's just going to be, gone here in a couple of weeks. I know that our president and the government is working on putting out some stimulus money, but I just don't know how long that's going to last, Nikki. And that's kind of what I'm worried about. So,
well, Georgetown's such a tight-knit community, and everybody really helps each other. And I think, throughout all this, we're in a good place as far as being able to help each other and, have the community here that we do.
Well, absolutely. Well, Nikki, appreciate you being here this morning with us. Is Nikki Hill and a Galaxy Granite here. But I've got on the phone right now a good friend of mine, Mr. Kyle Simek over at Guns Plus. Kyle, can you hear us this morning?
Hey, I got you loud and clear.
Awesome, Kyle. Well, Kyle, the owner of Guns Plus, one of our sponsors here, I know that you have been really busy, man. On the flip side, there's been a lot of businesses that have been impacted in different ways. On the flip side, you guys have been busy. Talk about what you've been up to and how things are going for your business over at Guns Plus, man.
So we've been doing a ton of business, and it's kind of interesting because on day-to-day, most of our business is returning customers, people who are longtime gun owners, lifelong hunters, avid shooters, things like that. About 90% of what I have coming into the store now is actually first-time gun owners that have never owned a gun before, never contemplated owning a gun before.
What do you think? What's kind of been the mindset of those customers coming into your store? Are they worried? Of course, they want to protect themselves. What are some of the comments that you've heard in your store?
So I think what we're running into is people coming to the realization that they need to be prepared and that there might be some reason that they need a gun to protect themselves. You're seeing a lot of the police departments come out and say, hey, we're still going to service, violent calls, but everything else you're kind of on your own. And it's one of those where response times might be drawn out, if something does happen. So you might have to take care of yourself for several hours before the cavalry shows up.
Well, as far as, different restrictions in the county now, is there anything that you guys could potentially face from any of that?
So one of the things that we're having to watch pretty closely is in some of the big cities and different places, they're closing what they consider non-essential businesses. So that's one of the things that we're having to watch out for and make sure that we don't get overstocked, because if, I've got all these big orders coming in to support all of this business coming in, helping people arm themselves and defend themselves, that if we get shut down for, weeks or months, at that point, that would be very detrimental.
Oh, for sure, man. Well, Nikki's here. She's got a question for you. I'm gonna let Nikki chat with you.
I'm just wondering, what is the actual process in buying a gun? Like, what do you have to go through in order to get one?
So in Texas, basically all you need is a valid Texas ID. We fill out a background check form that we then call in to the FBI. As long as that's approved, then you pay for it and walk out the door with it. Typically, that process is about 5 to 15 minutes. Nationwide, the instant background check system we call into has been inundated with calls. So yesterday we were on hold for 3 and 4 hours. Basically what we're doing is getting people, all dialed in on the form, and then just I'll get your phone number and call you when it comes back. But it's a pretty painless process, and it's pretty simple.
As a single mother, that's something that I have thought about, is to purchase one. Do you have any advice for me on doing so?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things we cater to mostly is a lot of first-time home buyers, a lot of women, a lot of elderly people. What we do is we'll show you an array of different things and kind of help you explain how it's going to work and get several different ones in your hand and figure out which one you like the best. Everybody at the shop is carried a gun for a living. We've got my dad there, who's actually a current Texas police officer. He worked homicide in Austin. I've got former Rangers, Marines. Everybody there is a wealth of knowledge that really helps out, new shooters.
Well, Kyle, in the community, I know that you guys are staying busy, but you talked about there could be some restrictions on some businesses and non-essential businesses. I consider your business extremely essential, but it may not be the eyes in some folks. But how can we continue to help you and support you, Kyle, and your business, man?
Well, that's one of those where most of the major box stores, everybody's saying they're all out of everything. So guns, ammo, everything else. We still have a really good supply right now. I kind of saw the writing on the wall and started ordering beforehand. So it's one of those where just if any of your needs that we can help anybody with, stop on by and see us.
And you guys are located, of course, across from the high school. You've been in business a long time, man. Tell us just a quick history of Guns Plus and how long you guys have been there and what you really specialize in, man.
So Guns Plus, we've been around for, I think it was 10 years in January. It's a family business. It actually spun off of our defense contracting business, where we did a lot of work supporting the military overseas and stateside. So, we kind of bring that to the table. We're not just people who read about it in a magazine. We kind of support every aspect of shooting. We've got a shooting range just north of town. We do a lot of training that applies to first-time shooters too. That's most of our training clientele. So we take you out to the range and get you super confident and comfortable with the weapons. We support the hunting community, self-defense, sport shooting. I mean, pretty much it's a one-stop shop.
How have your employees been through? I've asked everybody that I've called this morning, how's your employees? How are they coping with this whole situation right now, and what are their thoughts on all of this?
So it's one of those where luckily our business is up based on this, and we keep enough in reserve to be able to take care of the guys. If they do shut us down, my guys are family. We can't just stop paying them. They're going to be taken care of, and we're going to be okay. But I don't think most small businesses can say that.
Kyle, you're someone that, you keep a pretty attentive eye on the government. You've been in that situation. You've worked directly with the government. Of course, you talked about some contracts that you had. The stimulus, I wanted to ask you, President Trump is proposing a stimulus. The early reports are that it may be 2 rounds of checks, one of them starting here very soon in March, and then another one in April. The early numbers sound like it's going to be $1,000 per check. Kind of your thoughts on that, and do you think that's really going to be a boost for our economy as things continue to kind of fall right now?
I think it's kind of putting a temporary Band-Aid on it. I don't have a good solution for this because I don't think there is a good solution for it. But basically, paying everybody out of money that everybody pays in is kind of like robbing Peter to pay Paul, in my opinion.
So this is my dad's phrase, man. Well, Kyle, final thoughts from you. Again, it's Kyle Simek, the owner of Guns Plus. Just your final thoughts before we let you go, man.
It's one of those where nobody needs to panic over this. The virus itself isn't that bad, but everybody does need to be prepared. So have what you need to take care of yourself, whether that's food, weapons, security, family. Be prepared, have a plan, and be ready to act on that plan.
Well, Kyle, appreciate you. I did want to ask you, your website's gunsplus.net. Is that correct?
That's it.
Awesome. Well, check them out online. It's gunsplus.net, one of our sponsors here on HRN as well. Kyle, I appreciate you, man, your friendship over the years, and looking forward to chatting with you soon, buddy. Thanks for all you do, man.
All right, sounds good. Take it easy.
Once again, that was Kyle Simek over at Guns Plus. Appreciate his thoughts. And, Nikki, getting a lot of just really unique perspective from so many different businesses here this morning that are impacted in our community. It's and you brought up a good point, being a single mom, to protect yourself. What goes through your mind when you think about that as far as purchasing a gun?
I mean, to be honest, I've only shot a gun once in my entire life. So the whole aspect of it makes me very nervous. But it is something that I have thought about quite often recently, is that, me being just me and Ethan, I feel like I probably do need some kind of way to protect myself. But I just haven't taken the steps to do so. And I honestly was under the impression that it took much longer. Like I was told it takes up to a week for this stuff to come back. So knowing that it's actually a lot quicker than that, it's something I'm probably going to look into in the near future.
I wanted to ask you, being a single mom and you're taking care of Ethan, and what are some challenges that you face through this? I mean, have you been able to get the supplies and the food and the things that you need?
I managed to go grocery shopping right before it got real crazy. So I'm good, and I've got enough food to last me and Ethan for a couple weeks. I didn't go, panic mode, but I did get enough. And I'm starting to prepare for the next time that I need it. So as far as I'm looking into HEB curbside and stuff, I know it's a week or two out, but at least if I already have it set, I'm trying to prepare that way. But, I'm also worried about upcoming rent and, that kind of stuff, as far as if, I don't know if Galaxy Granite's considered an essential business, I guess. And so, that concerns me is, my income.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Nikki, appreciate you being here this morning. We got on the line now Annette Montgomery, Realtor. Annette, thanks for joining us. Can you hear us this morning?
Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Nikki.
Well, you're one of our founding sponsors here on HRN. It's always good to chat with you. I've known you so long, Annette. You do such wonderful things in our community. Wanted to get your perspective from the real estate world. How are you holding up, and how are things going in the real estate world through all of this right now?
Well, Rob, my business is 30 days out. So, I have some things in the pipeline that are scheduled to be closing in 30 and 45 days, and some even into the summer. I will say that I noticed a significant drop-off the last week or so. Typically my phone rings, and it's been very quiet. But I'm trying not to panic, and I'm watching the numbers in the MLS, and I don't see panic in the market. The pendings are very strong. Just looking at the last, 24 hours, 3 days, and 7 days, we've had 52 go pending in the last 3 days and 80 in the last week. So it feels like maybe it's, people still have to move places and live places. So overall, I'm not panicking, or trying not to panic, but I'll feel it in about 30 days.
So for you guys, it's kind of that 30-day delay then, is basically what you're saying.
Yes.
Well,
yes, because once somebody buys something, it's going to sit in in escrow for 30 days.
From your perspective, I know that you're not really as much on the lending side and the financial side. Of course, the Fed has lowered the interest rates. How do you think that that's going to affect the real estate market? Will we see a lot of buying? Do you think that that will be something that's beneficial?
Well, Rob, that's very interesting. I think that the rates have been low for a very long time, and I don't think we're going to see that bring a wave of people, because I think if you've been able to qualify and willing and want to, you've been able to do that. Even though it is encouraging stimulation in the market, I just don't think that there's a huge number of people sitting there waiting for a drop in the rate to make a move.
From you being in the industry, you've been in it for quite some time, Annette. Kind of, what is your biggest concern right now through all of this?
Well, Rob, honestly, I'm concerned about people that I know in the community who are, unable to go to the grocery store and wait in the lines or navigate curbside on the computer. I have some friends, clients who have become friends who are fighting health problems right now, and I can't imagine going to the grocery store and trying to fight that. So I'm trying to be helpful. Georgetown is a remarkable community, and it's what drew me here and what's kept me here is how we all rally together. When that gas pipe thing happened up on Williams Drive, those businesses were out of work for quite a while, and I think the community stepped back in and helped support them. And I think at this time, since I'm not directly affected at this moment, I'm trying to do what I can do, which is, help people that I know who can be benefited by just the simple things, bringing them food, bringing them toilet paper if you can find it. I don't know. That's all I can really do at the moment.
Well, for you also, being around so many people in the industry, in the real estate world and real estate markets, from a landlord perspective, I don't know if you can speak for any landlords, but how do you think that those guys are going to cope with this? Because there's going to be a lot of businesses probably who can't make rent. So how do you think that that's all going to transpose? Do you have any ideas on that?
No, I don't. I wonder if there will be an adjustment to rent rates or a deferral in rents. I do know that someone in the industry has already been contacted by someone who can't make rent and who wants to move back home and wants to disperse of the remainder of their lease. So, I'm certain that there's going to be numerous ways to work through, either by deferring the rent or reducing the rent, or perhaps, some kind of constructive way to make everyone whole. Because I have very many clients who rent homes as their income, so they're directly affected by someone who can't pay rent as well. It's a business for them. So, this will be interesting to see how it percolates through the economy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as we continue to talk to Annette Montgomery here, who we have on the phone right now with Annette Montgomery, realtor who's been in this community for a long time. She knows the community. Annette, what advice do you have right now? Let's say that somebody is saying, man, I really want to sell my house, or I really want to buy a house right now. What would you tell those individuals that may be thinking that right now?
I would think that now is a very good time to investigate and to move forward on that. If you're wanting to sell your home, I'm not sure that an open house is going to be a way to do it, but the numbers are very strong. If you look at the number of listings we have and the number of inventory and the absorption rate, we honestly have about 3 months of inventory. So I wouldn't be particularly reticent to not put your house on the market. I would think that would be something you would move forward and also be poised for if we're able to get through this period of quarantine and come out the other side. You'll be poised to be on the market when people come back and are rallying. But right now, I don't see any reason to hold back. Mostly when you show a property, you're not in the house when other people are there, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I think
Go
I
ahead,
wouldn't
Annette.
be concerned.
What are some areas? Have you heard one thing that I think that many of us, have I don't want to say forgotten about, but maybe just haven't really considered is the elderly population. We live in the number one place in America to retire in Georgetown, and that wave of retirees continues to come in. What can we do to help those people, Annette? Some ideas that maybe you have for that. John Montgomery and I, John had the idea, and I'm just trying to help him promote it and working with him, trying to identify maybe supplies that the elderly need. You can drop off those supplies, by the way, for those that are listening, at Roberts Printing downtown on the square or at the Georgetown Poker Club. But as I talk to Annette Montgomery, what do you think some of those needs are from the elderly population in our community?
Well, I think non-perishable foods, paper products, anything that can help them not have to go out and fight the crowds in the grocery store, and take care of our wonderful aging population here. They're very generous with their time in volunteering, and I think that since they're affected most by this, the best thing we can do is help them as much as we can.
Well, Annette, appreciate you calling in this morning as we are talking with Annette Montgomery Realtor. Annette, your final thoughts before we say good morning to you.
Well, to add on to what Kyle was saying, I'm trying not to panic here. I think we can all agree that if we follow these guidelines and let this and do what we're supposed to do and help others, the quicker we'll get to the other side of it. And that's what I intend to do is help others as best I can and follow these guidelines, and then help the community as soon as we can recuperate.
Well, Annette, appreciate you as always. Again, you do so much wonderful work in our community, and you're always giving back. So thank you so much, Annette. We'll keep up to date and keep you in our prayers as well. In the real estate market, we hope that that'll continue to push forward, as people are always going to need a place to live. Thank you, Annette.
Thank you, Robin. I appreciate what you do, too. Thank you so much.
You bet. Have a great day, Annette. Well, once again, that was Annette Montgomery from Annette Montgomery Real Estate. And, Nikki, you were talking about applying for your first home loan. And so kind of what's going through your mind with all this as you're thinking about that, in the real estate world.
Well, I did, actually. I applied for my first home loan, actually, earlier this week. It's been something that I've been thinking about for a while. That was one of my goals of 2020 was I wanted to buy my first home. So, hearing her and listening to her input on things makes me feel a little bit better about, my decision to move forward with that,
I was thinking whenever we first launched I don't want to say first launched the show because we've had the show for a long time, but when we first launched for the new year in 2020 is synonymous with vision and clear vision. And I think right now that this is an opportunity for us to really focus on having some clear vision, and it's pretty hard though because we don't know what the we don't know the unknown. It's where we're at right now, Nikki.
No, you're exactly right.
Well, talking about health and wellness and really where we're heading, I've got a friend of mine on the line now, Mr. Jean-Luc Williams in Arizona. Are you there, Jean?
Yes, I'm here, Rob. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, buddy. Just trying to hold it down here in Texas. Jean-Luc, you're still in Arizona, correct?
Yes, Phoenix, Arizona.
So I wanted to get your perspective. I met you at whenever I was looking into working at Globe Life Family Heritage. Before we talk a little bit about that, man, how are things in Arizona right now? How are people in your community coping with all this? I'm sure it's similar across the nation, but I wanted to get your perspective from the outside looking in, man.
Yeah, I think it is similar to what you're seeing everywhere. There's polar opposites. There's still some people who I think don't believe it exists, and others who are taking it to the extremes. But at the end of the day, people are scared. It's a huge disruption to the status quo, to people's everyday life. So I think everybody's trying to adjust in their own way and control their controllables. And I don't know if nationally all the schools are out. Arizona's on Monday. released all the students. So parents are trying to figure out the logistics of their income, their job, but also making sure their children are taken care of. So, yeah, man, it's definitely a unique time.
Well, so I talked to Jean-Luc Williams here, calling us from Arizona. You know, I talked earlier, met you through Globe Life and our training there in Dallas, Texas. You also do a lot of health and fitness. Before, you know, we talk about that part for the insurance industry. I mean, a lot of it's door-to-door with supplemental policies. How has that impacted your business model there, or your business approach with the supplemental insurance industry, man?
Yeah, so we've had to pivot. You know, we've had to make an adjustment. You know, I for one take the perspective that I'm truly grateful that we have the tools and technology that we do today. You know, it's interesting. We still do a lot of things face to face, but we don't have to. You know, it's very easy, and you've seen many companies who are completely remote, just between social media, LinkedIn, email, phone, text. It's still very easy nowadays to do business. It's different. You have to kind of, like I said, take a pivot, and you have to adjust how you're doing it. But as far as supplemental insurance and life insurance, you know, it's always a good time to look at those things and see if those things are a good fit for you and your family. You know, I know with the virus, a lot of people end up in the hospital. So, you know, hospitalization care, ICU, and then, of course, life insurance. You know, nothing makes you think of life insurance more than a crisis. And if you don't have it, it's something that you probably should have, not because of the coronavirus, just because it's common sense and it makes sense. So, yeah, for us, it's definitely been different. I think, I mean, numbers-wise, it hasn't changed, to be honest, for me, all that much. But you know, I know for a lot of people, it's a unique time economically and just societally. So I think I like that I'm still working. I like that every day I'm able to get out there and talk to people. And, you know, it just allows me to be more human and have that empathy and make connection. And whether or not people buy insurance or not is a bit irrelevant at this point in time. It's nice to be in community because I think with this isolation, I think that's one of the most difficult things. And like you said, Rob, I'm also in health. I'm a health coach. And, yeah, it's a little scary as a health coach, more so than insurance, I'll tell you, because, you know, I'm looking at people who are going to be locked up in their homes for the next 3 months with a ton of food and little activity and little socialization. It's sort of a recipe for disaster. And I'm more concerned with that as a health coach than I am with the coronavirus or I am with the economic impact on the U.S. I think we will bounce back pretty strongly.
You know, you are someone that had been involved in gyms before as well. You know, closing those facilities, that's got to be, I'm assuming there in Arizona as well, or in your county, that those facilities have been shut down. Is that correct?
Yeah, my gym actually officially shut down yesterday nationwide. I think there's a few small mom and pops that are still trying to keep the doors open. But, yeah, it's difficult. You know, I mean, I've had a lot of clients reach out to me with that concern of not having the gym. So, you know, we're pivoting to online workouts, doing things from home. Of course, you can still go outside, just not near people. So walking or running or different things you could do. So you just got to get creative. You know, I think people may end up doing workouts and exercises and things that they've never done before, which might be good.
What about video? You know, there's a lot of folks now that are resorting to doing online streaming videos. Do you have any of that kind of inclination to maybe start doing some of that for workouts and things?
Yeah, and it's something I've already done. You know, we've been doing that for over a year now. I actually have an app, the Online Health Club, and it's really just, you know, I'm a millennial. I grew up in the digital technological age, and you know, even before coronavirus, it just makes sense that people should have the option to work out at home or the gym or wherever they are. You know, I have a lot of clients who are traveling businessmen, and they're living out of hotels, and those gyms are fairly inadequate. So, you know, people still want to stay on a routine. They still want to make progress. They still want to make health a priority. And, you know, like I said at the onset, you know, we live in an age where we're really blessed. technologically with apps. It's really easy to stay on track if you want to. So yeah, the online health club has been huge for my clients. And then of course, nutritionally, it's one of those things where obviously groceries are slim, but I don't know, I can't say this for every grocery store, but I can speak to my grocery store, and my grocery store has plenty of healthy food still left on the shelves. So it actually has made grocery shopping easier for me.
What do you recommend? I was going to ask if you don't mind. What do you recommend right now that people that you talked earlier about people not maybe able to get out? So what do you recommend to people that are, that are confined to their homes or that aren't supposed to really be getting out as far as what they should eat and what they should do to remain active?
Yeah, well, I mean, you touched on it. I think at-home workouts. At the end of the day, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems, right? So I think you have to create a system, and a system implies a schedule. I always say this to clients: if it's not on your calendar, it's not going to happen. So I think getting a schedule is the first step. Whatever that looks like for you, it could be light stretching in the morning, a workout video using an app like the Online Health Club or something equivalent. Just having workouts from YouTube, going on Google and looking up workouts. But whatever it is, it has to be scheduled. You have to know what you're going to do Sunday through Monday for the week. And then as far as eating, it's difficult because a lot of us are emotional eaters. A lot of us are scared eaters, and this is an emotional, scary time. And we, for the most part, never had more food in our house because people really stocked up. So it's difficult. I'll say that. I think you're just going to have to create a program as far as what you're going to eat, when you're going to eat it, and it has to be written down. It has to be very clear cut. That's really one of the first steps to kind of attacking emotional eating or unconscious, fearful eating.
As we talked to Jean-Luc Williams here from Arizona on the phone with us. Jean-Luc, listeners out there may be hearing you. They're wondering, what can we're trying to help locally. What can we do to help this guy? So if you needed a certain need, what can folks out there do to help you?
Oh, I don't need anything. I'm very blessed. I'm not worried health-wise about the virus. So I think as far as, what they can do, I think the biggest thing is really focusing on who's in danger here, which is pretty evident, the elderly population. This thing, whether it was engineered this way in a lab or I actually don't know the origin, but at the end of the day, it has one mission, and it's really to wipe out our elderly population, and that's what it's doing. So I think reaching out, I think obviously taking care of yourself first, your own health, your own family, but then the next step is, what can I actually do? If that's checking on an elderly neighbor next door, an apartment complex, or across the street, obviously make sure you're healthy. You don't want to go there sick. But checking in, making sure they have everything they need. But I think even more importantly, again, is that social component. If you know elderly people who don't have family or who may have family, you don't know if their family's reaching out to them, give them a call. Shoot them a text message if they text. Write them an email. I have a good friend back in New York. He's 76. We were hiking buddies when I lived there. So I've been emailing him every day just to check in on him because I know they're scared. I would be too. The average, the numbers are not in their favor, and it's a point where I think we all have to say, what can we do to help? How can we make a difference? And it's going to look different for every person. But I think at the end of the day, you got to be able to lay your head on your pillow and say, I did everything I could during this unique time to make the most of it and to help those that I could. So I'd say don't help me, but if you're going to help anybody, I think look to that population.
Well, Jean-Luc, I appreciate your time this morning. It's so important, and this is just a perfect example of why, you can be at the most random place. For me, being an insurance sales training there for that short time in Dallas and then made a good friend with you, man. And that's why it's so important. I think that we always need to be mindful of those around us and just be there for each other, man. And I consider you a friend, and I'm very thankful to have met you and to hear your perspective, and wish you all the best, man. Keep in touch for sure.
Yeah, I will, Rob, and I love seeing what you're doing. I think you obviously have that God-given talent for it, but you also work very hard. I think you're clearly an asset to that town, and I'll say this. I'll close with this. I think we've never had a greater opportunity for humanity to really come together, to sort of refocus us on what's important, and also to just count our blessings and help those in need. Because of course we have the elderly population, but at the end of this, there's going to be a lot of people who need economic help. So if you're in a position to help people, I highly encourage you to do that. I look forward to seeing how we bounce back. I'm actually very, very grateful that we have who we have in office. We have a businessman. I'm not in any way going to get political, but I'm grateful the economy was in such good shape coming into this. These are things we have to recognize, because it could have been a lot worse. And so I appreciate your time, Rob. I really wish you the best of luck, and hope everybody stays healthy.
Awesome. Well, Jean-Luc, appreciate you. We'll definitely keep in touch, man. Thanks for being here this morning with us.
All right, brother. You have a great day.
You too. Once again, that was Jean-Luc Williams, and I'm just trying to see here as man, it's the conspiracy. If you're still on the, that's kind of crazy, man. It was funny because he mentioned, you got to wonder about Facebook sometimes. That's pretty crazy, Nikki. We're still live on the app, but he mentioned something about our president, and Facebook shuts down the live stream.
Did it really?
Yeah, and I mean, that's been going on. That is unbelievable. So if you're, there we go. Now, is it back?
Are we back up? Can y'all see us?
I mean, that is crazy. It's not showing that we're streaming.
No, it's back down again.
That's kind of a sketch right there. Wow. Well, anyways, I guess that'll sign us off for the day. Nikki, you got any final thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
Wait, I think we're back. I think we're coming back here now. That was kind of crazy. There's been reports of that, by the way, where someone has shared something. Yeah, so hopefully you're back on the Facebook live stream. That was really weird because he had mentioned something about the president, and then the Facebook live stream crashed. And I've seen that. People have shared certain things, and then Facebook just bans it. And he didn't say anything out of line at all.
No, he didn't at all.
And so I'm just wondering, is that the conspiracy of Facebook that it just decided to end our stream? And luckily it all came. We didn't have an internet glitch here. Everything was still working.
Wow, that's really crazy.
Big Brother's always watching you. Well, Nikki, appreciate you being here from Galaxy Granite. Can you tell us again what we can do to help you guys right now, you and your dad over at Galaxy, and where they can get more information on the business?
Like I said, if you're still looking to remodel your kitchen, until they tell us otherwise, we're staying up, we're staying in business. I have a lot of people right now that are still waiting on their kitchens, and you know what? You obviously have to have a kitchen to cook in if you're going to be quarantined. So, if we can help in any way and help the community, we'd be more than happy to do so. And,
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you for being here this morning, Nikki. Time now is 9:04. I did want to also say one of our other sponsors chiming in, Jim Locke over at Mill Direct Carpet, one of our sponsors here on Hipp Radio Network. He brought up a good point. His business, Mill Direct Carpet and Tile, they are open and going strong. So if you need your carpeting and your flooring, there's still businesses that are operating. And people, we got to realize we got to be cautious. And if you can stay at home, please do. I mean, don't get out and spread this stuff. But if you need services, there's still businesses out there to help you. Mill Direct is one that's been in Georgetown a long time, and Jim and his staff will take good care of you. So, Nikki, appreciate you being here.
Appreciate being here as well. Thank you for having me.
You make a good host. We may have to figure out how to get you on the payroll.
I'm down. Let's do it. I love this.
Well, it's a volunteer payroll.
That's all right, too.
Well, I'm Rob Hipp for Nikki Hillen. Thanks for joining us here on Good Morning Georgetown. We'll keep all of our friends here in the Georgetown community definitely in our prayers. We'll all get through this. Tomorrow morning, going to be a great show. Lee Ortiz of Climate Control Pros is going to be on the show. He will be here as our guest host from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'll talk more about this virus, about the impacts on Williamson County. I'm sure that we'll have more updates from the that'll do it for today's show. Again, I'm Rob Hipp for Nikki Hill, and thanks for being part of our show. This is Good Morning Georgetown here on the Hipp Radio Network. We'll be back at it bright and early tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. If you haven't already, please download the app. It's Hipp Radio Network. You can get it so easily on your Android or your iPhone. Just search for Hipp Radio Network. That's Hipp, Hipp Radio Network. We're also now featuring USA Radio News at the top of the hour, so you'll be able to catch up with the national news. We've got weather updates every 30 minutes, more content, more things for the Georgetown community. Friends, as I end every broadcast, reminding you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there today needs you. Good morning, and God bless. We'll see you tomorrow morning, friends.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
The Trump administration's continuing to pitch lawmakers on Capitol Hill on a huge economic stimulus plan to help Americans impacted by the coronavirus outbreak. The top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer says Democrats would have one requirement of any such bill:
focus on the people who need help the most, the workers, the families.
In fact, the Washington Post reports the plan would provide two payments to working Americans of around $1,000 each. The first payment going out around April 6th. The second wave of payments would go out on May 18th. President Trump has chosen Christopher Miller to be the next director of the National Counterterrorism Center. He was formerly the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Special Operations and Combating Terrorism. He'll replace Joseph McGuire, who Trump chose to be Acting Director of National Intelligence, though McGuire left that position in February. And this is USA Radio News.
Hello, this is Wayne Allen Root, relentless conservative warrior, middle-class warrior, and always Trump warrior. I have a message for my fellow patriots across America. President Trump is making America great again. He's the only president in my lifetime who is keeping his promises, and his biggest promise is to build that wall. President Trump can only do it with our help. If Congress won't fund Trump's wall, we will. President Trump is one man against the world, and what globalists and socialists around the world want is clear, open borders. It's time to take a stand. We either build a wall, or it's the end of the greatest nation in world history ever blessed by God. That's why I founded the Root for the Wall PAC. 63 million Trump voters together will raise the money President Trump needs for the wall. Anyone who donates $100 or more will get a beautiful commemorative wall brick. Display it proudly. Call 844-ROOT-WALL. That's toll free, 844-ROOT-WALL, or go to rootwall.com. We will build this wall together. Call 844-ROOT-WALL or go to rootwall.com. Root for the Wall PAC. Paid for and is responsible for the content of this message. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. rootwall.com.
A government economic report just out this morning showing the coronavirus pandemic is making the nation's unemployment lines longer. The Labor Department reporting around 281,000 Americans filed first-time claims last week, and that is 70,000 more than the week before. For those who don't follow these reports week to week, generally the changes in either direction are never much more than 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 week to week. Some encouraging news coming out of China concerning the outbreak of coronavirus there. The country reporting no new cases were confirmed yesterday, the first day that's happened in China since the outbreak began there in December. The Earth is getting a break from pollution thanks to the virus. Environmental experts say smog levels in hard-hit countries like China and Italy have been markedly reduced after businesses closed during those outbreaks. Similar declines expected soon in the U.S. This is USA Radio News.
Hi, I'm Wayne Allen Root, the conservative warrior. My show War Now airs every day right here on USA Radio from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm also the star of the Wayne Allen Root Show on Newsmax TV, reaching over 50 million homes. But my favorite role is speaker extraordinaire. I was opening speaker at many Donald Trump for President events. I speak at Republican, conservative, and college GOP events, and I'm available to be the star at your next event. Contact me to arrange for a Wayne Root keynote speech. Call toll-free 888-444-ROOT. That's 888-444-ROOT. Or email wayneroot@gmail.com.
A Republican U.S. Senator with concerns about the hospitality industry during the coronavirus crisis.
Millions of people are working from home, off the job, or out of school as the virus spreads. Maine Republican Senator Susan Collins fears the economic downturn will harm small businesses.
The hospitality industry in particular, the restaurants, the B&Bs, the gift shops, the small hotels, are being adversely affected by the virus.
For USA Radio News, I'm Wendy King.
The NBA could play a charity game to give basketball-starved fans something to watch. During these days of isolation, the NBA commissioner telling ESPN a charity competition of some kind, separate from league play, is possible, adding he's not prepared to cancel the season, but admits he's not sure on how the schedule is going to look or if fans will be able to attend when play does resume. Volvo is recalling 121,000 vehicles because of a problem with automatic emergency brakes that don't work. Notices will be sent out by May 1st. And an astronaut from Apollo 15 has died. Alfred Worden died at the age of 88. NASA's administrators saying that Worden had achievements in space and on Earth that will never be forgotten. And for USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
Here's your Georgetown forecast from the Hipp Radio Network Weather Center. Cloudy skies expected today with a chance for scattered rain showers. Highs level off around 79. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast again tonight. Scattered thunderstorms likely. Lows level off around 62. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 65. Overcast skies. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 69 degrees.
Broadcasting worldwide from the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio. This is Hipp Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station.